Hey, fellow guitar players, portable pedalboard power, right here, Joyo. Stick around. So this right here, you probably already heard of this before, but this is the Joyo portable power supply. This is a 9-volt battery that you can use in case of if you're out and about, if you're traveling mobile, you need something portable power that time where you don't have to rely on a wall power supply, or if you're somewhere remote and you want to have a quick jam maybe with a little amplifier that needs some portable energy, or to power your pedal board which has reasonable power usage. So I've had this thing for about maybe a year, and over a year or so, 2 years maybe, and I could probably give you some points on some pros and cons, on things I like about it, things that I don't like about it. But here it is, Joyo portable power supply. So first thing you'd want this for is portability, it's convenience. So being able to take this out in the back, just chuck it in. This is as small as your pedal board. So if I were to take a pedal on one of my pedals, for example this one. So I know this is a Joyo product as well, but it doesn't mean I'm being paid for this. Okay, so this is just because I seem to like their products. I dare say I like this one better than the Maxon OD808 or the Ibanez Tube Screamer, but that's just me, and that's probably for another video. But this is the size difference. Okay, so fits onto your pedal board nicely. Alright, and that means it's convenient. So this thing has an LED in here which turns on just like this. See that? Okay. Now this LED has actually been replaced because the first one that I had, the LED was sort of sticking out, if sort of like that, if you know what I mean. And when I chucked it into my bag, the LED has sort of broken because it's probably hit something, and because it's protruding that much, it's vulnerable. So it must have hit one of my cables or whatever in my bag, and then it broke. And it was annoying because it was hard to see, it was hard to gauge the level of the battery because the light was broken. So I had to get in there, open this up, buy a little LED from the hardware store, and resolder a new LED. That's a replacement right there. And I did it so it's a bit recessed. It's more level with the body now, if you can see it right there. So it now shows the indication of the levels. So if you see the indicator of the battery there, that's how it says it. Okay, I'll get out of the frame so you can see it. So that right there, 100%, 60%, 30%. Okay, it's really convenient. You can see it that way. As you already know, probably it's there's two outputs right there. So center minus polarity. I think you can get. I don't remember if it comes with a cable that reverses the polarity. It also comes with a daisy chain. Okay, so you can use one, and I think it's maybe 5 pedals or something like that. But you can obviously buy another aftermarket daisy chain cable depending on your needs. So this is the charging port right there. It comes with its own charger, which is different voltage, 5 volts, center plus polarity. Okay, so now when I replaced the LED for this, I've seen the insides of this, and I kind of think this thing could be a little smaller, because Sanyo, I think it was Sanyo or someone else who has a similar concept. I think it's the Pedal Train Volto and some other brands which are thinner than this, and probably, I don't remember if it was smaller in dimension these ways, but it was definitely thinner. On the inside of this, the battery is what it looks like 3 fat AA batteries. So not so much AA batteries, but they look like they're in between a AA and a C-shaped, C-size battery is what's in this. 3 of them, if I remember correctly. With a circuit board on it to control the power distribution, power regulation, the voltage regulation, to gauge the indication of how much power is left, the charging mechanism, auto stop, and all of those. So that's most of the of what I can think of right now of its features that that would be important to you, probably. Now, one of the things I notice about this when you're using it in its practical application, you charge it fully, it turns green. As you keep using it, let's say for example if you're using it with a wireless system. So the wireless system that I used to use is this. I use a Shure wireless GLXD system these days, but sometimes I use my old wireless system because it's my main wireless system is fixed onto my pedal board, so I have my spare ones that I can use from time to time. But that's a digital system. So I think this power supply works really good with things like analog pedals. But when it comes to digital, as usual, they have the digital pedal boards and gadgets. They tend to have some electrical contaminants that it puts on your signal. Okay, so what happens is with this, when it's green, it seems to be fine, but when it's approaching orange or amber on the indication, it seems to have a little bit of a change in something happens to the signal, where it tends to introduce noise into the signal, noise contamination. And then after a while, once it hits orange, after a short while, that noise seems to I guess get better. And it seems to maybe you could say it disappears, but I think this is only mostly when you're using when digital pedals are involved. But if you have your analog pedals like overdrive, your analog delays, and your simple analog pedals, compressors, and things like that, the analog stuff, it's good. It's good. It lasts long. Another thing to note is that these are advertised to be 6,600 milliamp hours, so 6,600. Just remember that number. Some pedals like the overdrive, your typical overdrive pedals, they use about 7 milliamp, of power. Your wireless systems, they digital, these power hungry ones, they tend to use about maybe 200-300. So they're the more power hungry ones. So this one claims to say claims that you can use 50 hours. I guess you could last 50 hours if you're using really low power consumption analog pedals. But even then, when I had just an overdrive pedal and maybe a tuner, like this one for example, this is my Joyo iron tune. This is a good accurate tuning pedal. Once again, I just like the Joyo products. Okay, I just like the Joyo products because they seem to be well priced, and the pedals are just good. They just seem to. I like how they sound. Not this, of course. This is a tuner, but the overdrive and some of the other pedals and the features. This covering thing. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't seem to last as long as advertised, but not necessarily a bad thing because it seems to last for as long as I need it, maybe even more. So it's not really a big issue for me. Probably it's not going to be a big issue for you, as long as you don't neglect to charge this thing. So charge it once, it needs to be charged once in a while. Okay, so I'm just saying it's not too big of a deal, but it's just one thing to I guess it's good to know that it doesn't last as long as you think it would, like 6,600 milliamp hour. You'd probably think it truly lasts for like 50 hours on your analog pedals, but it's probably like 30 or 20 or so, whatever. It's enough for your usage. Okay, so one other thing that I found out about this portable power supply battery is that It doesn't seem to be able to handle if you have a bunch of like a big pedal board, obviously, because it is probably not what it's made for. Let's say if you have a power hungry digital wireless system like a Shure GLXD or DX2 wireless system, and a whole bunch of other pedals that are running at the same time, like if you're using a switching system, MIDI switching system, where a lot of the pedals are already on, that seems to not be able to handle that. It just shuts off, you know. And I have a Digitech Whammy 5 that I sometimes add onto my pedal board when I need it, depending on the set list. And this one seems to struggle to power that thing up. That has a power consumption of about 200, maybe 200 milliamps or something like that. Maybe somewhere between 100 to 250 or something. But it's a high drain device, a power hungry device, and this one just it doesn't seem to cut it. I had to use my my main my plugged in power supply to power that. But other than that, the power that this provides is pretty stable if you're using devices that it can handle. Like if you're using overdrives that it can handle, pedals, other pedals and other things, you'll probably be alright. It's a good thing to use. Its power is continuous, not much issues there. But just be careful with your digital devices, because that tends to screw things up a bit, you know. Presents a challenge here and there. If you have some devices that had that's a 9V but has a sender positive polarity, you could just probably buy a maybe a daisy chain or another spare little cable that reverses that polarity from sender minus to sender positive, and I think you'll be alright. So overall, I think this is a great little a really useful and practical unit to have. Okay, so this is my first pedal power supply, battery type power supply, and I think at some point I'm going to pick up another one. Maybe not so much a Joyo, but I want to try something else, like depending on its features, battery capacity, and of course the price. It has to be reasonable. I probably will be looking at some other things like the Pedal Train Volto, or there's some other new ones of these that are coming out in the market now. You know, just for the sake of something different. But if I end up not finding something that I like, then I might just buy a second one of these, because you know, they're quite good for the price. I think it's 110 or 120 Australian dollars now. So check on conversion. I think it's a good value for what it is. Like sometimes when I go to my rehearsal and I just want just to have my amp and, you know, pack light, as they say. I just want to have my amp and a wireless system, and then I don't want to have to bring a wall wart or a power supply for the wall for my wireless. I just use this, and it works perfectly fine for that. Simple setup. And when it gets closer to the show, the rehearsals that I use, the last two rehearsals, would probably be with my full gear, which is plugged into the wall, and that's fine too. That's depends on what I need on the day, what I'm feeling like on the rehearsal day. But yeah, it does say at the back here, DC, the output is 9 volts and 2 amps in total, but I'm not sure what that means, because yeah, like I said, when I plugged in the Digitech Whammy along with other high power consumption pedals and gadgets, it just shuts off. It just, I don't know, maybe it's maybe this thing has been exposed to heat. You know, I've been a bit careless with my gear sometimes and leaving it in the car, and heat must have affected it. I don't know. It seems to be still working good right now. So time will tell. If I buy a new unit, I'll see how that behaves, how different it'll behave from this, with this having gone through what it's gone through. But so far so good. So far so good. So guys, that is my take, my experience on the Joyo pedal power supply. I hope this video has given you some value. Hope you've taken something from it to help your decision to what pedal power you're going to purchase for yourself, for your pedal board, so you can go ahead and jam on the go. If you have any questions, ask away. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, consider subscribing, because I'm about to drop all kinds of gear talk on you. And check out my band Stellar Addiction too. I'll be using the band songs in conjunction to the demos to give you some perspective and some context for the demos. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next bedroom gear talk. Thank you.